Hello again. Today I'm going to talk about the modal chord wheel. It's a concept that I came up with a few years ago to help me improve my lead playing and my sort of theory playing. It's basically a diagram that helps me think about how modes relate to chords, and I can use it when I want to use posh chords to imply modes and when I want to work out what mode to play over certain chords. So a few years ago I kind of got the basic minor pentatonic shapes everywhere. I knew the mode shapes and I knew a fretboard map, and it came whenever I was playing a song I would just play a map over the whole thing and just kind of noodle about. And then whenever there was an odd chord that was not diatonic, I was getting a bit lost and getting a bit thrown. So I came up with the circle here, and what the circle is, it's got the 7 modes on the outside, and then it's got all different sort of common chord types in the centre. And what happens is the chords start off really simple in the centre. So we've got the simplest chord, which is a power chord, and then as we get to the further on the outside of the circle, we add more and more notes each time, and eventually it becomes like the 13th chord. So it's complicated as you can get, really. Now if we look right in the centre, you can see that, I know it's smaller in the centre, but you can see that that 5th chord takes up quite a bit of the pie, if you imagine it as a piece of pie, which I like. And that's because more of the modes fit over a 5th chord because it's such a simple chord. There's only 2 notes in it. So a 5th chord is just a power chord, and we've got a root and a 5th. Now over that we could put 6 out of the 7 modes. They nearly all fit over it. So we could put a minor scale, or a major scale. So anything goes over that, which is why we get it in rock and prog a lot, because anyone can force any mode over it. But then as we expand out the circle, like the next layer, we've got major is the next, major or minor would be the next 2 chords we could have. Straight away that limits our modes down, and you can see over in the sort of shaded pinky red area, major chord, we've got 3 modes that fit over it. We've got major, Mixolydian and Lydian. And then for the minor we've got Dorian, Phrygian, and what's the other one? Aeolian, yeah, natural minor. Now what this does is this helps me kind of visualize what I want to do. And if I was in the key of C, for example, and I get a chord that's not in the key of C coming up, like a B flat major, that's not that root note's not normally in the key, and that chord's not normally in the key. Rather than thinking, crap, what key is that in? What am I going to do? Like worrying about the whole key, I can just think, right, B flat major. So major chord, so I'm going to put one of the 3 major modes on it. So I'm going to play either B flat Mixolydian, or B flat Lydian, or B flat Aeolian. So obviously I've got to know those shapes inside out, but that gives me some ideas straight away. And also I kind of use this because the way that we learn modes typically, you may have done this, I certainly did, when you learn modes you learn them in the order that they come up theoretically. So you learn Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, pardon me, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, and back to Ionian. Standard way. But that's not really how the modes relate to each other. Whereas on the wheel here, we've got neighbouring modes next to each other, sound like each other. So for example, if you look at Aeolian, which is the natural minor, which we probably play quite a lot, Dorian's right next to it, and it's right next to it because it's virtually the same. There's only the 6th is the only note that's different. So wherever I put natural minor, I could squeeze in and force in Dorian. So if I had a riff that was like, the only note I've got to change is this one here. I've got to change that flat 6th up to a normal. And it just becomes a bit different, and you can force in those modes. So I would try forcing in neighbouring modes in your soloing, and also come up with a simple chord progression, maybe 2 minor chords or 2 major chords, and just try putting the different minor modes that you can put on there and the different major modes that you can. And also try some of these posher chords on the outside rings if you ever want to suggest a mode. So rather than playing a major 7, play a major 7 sharp 11 if you want to emphasise Lydian or something like that. Leave comments, please leave me some comments, let me know what you think of it, and hope it helps you. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.